Tuesday. That means it's time for new releases. I got about 2 dozen. I don't know. On Sunday, I said I probably only have about like 15 books, and I was totally wrong. I had forgotten how many books came last week in advance. I also have like 3 books that I never ordered. They weren't on my final order cutoff from my distributors, so those are coming at the end of the week. We got the Compact Hush from DC. I've got Blurry by Dash Shaw. I forgot the third one, but they're all books that came out today that I didn't order. Hey, Mark. Um, so that's exciting. It's definitely been, as I mentioned last week, one of the most important things that we have as a store is people who come back. Hey, Joe, is people who come back. Not that often, every few months, once a year, and it's been a decent week for that. The weather just really turned here. It's supposed to be absolutely pouring tonight, but right now it's just the beginning, just a little bit of a drizzle on and off uh, for probably the next 2 hours. Probably are open. So I just told myself that when the rain got serious enough, I was going to start the live stream because it's always frustrating, especially when we're looking at the new books, for the live stream to be interrupted. So I cut it kind of close because I've got less than 2 hours now to do the live stream with you, which probably won't be more than half an hour. And I got to organize the shelves for all the single issue comics tomorrow. So many number ones, so many wonderful releases. Again, I'm really trying to cut numbers, but the single issues, they proliferate to a degree where if we're trying to let people have a choice and try out new number ones, we're going to end up lots of new number ones. But we'll look at that tomorrow. We'll talk about how difficult it is getting all that stuff out and making space for it. More tomorrow. Right now, let's go look at all the new books. This one, How It All Ends, I mentioned on yesterday's live stream. We're going to talk about that in a minute. We got Bendy video game series, comic book. We've got Wonderful Little Dinosaurs, Big Feeling. This is Magic Cat Publishers. They're a group that focuses on children's feelings. So this is a wonderful little book about different kinds of dinosaurs who have different kinds of feelings and how they can deal with them. Super cute. We've got the latest Mighty Marvel Masterworks. That's the 30s through 40 of the Avengers comics, the Roy Thomas era at this point. We've got the 4th Wayne Family Adventures, which I love this cover of them all taking care of Alfred. Because again, it's all about them being a family, so Alfred is super important. We got the Phineas and Ferb Classic Comic Collection. I feel so weird and old that this is a classic comic collection. These are the Phineas and Ferb comics that were coming out about 15 years ago in Disney magazines, all collected. There's going to be about 3 of them, I think, to collect everything. We've got a great new graphic novel by Genevieve Bowers, Hover Girls. Really fun art, science fiction adventure, found family story. We Are Big Time, based on true events. Fairly obvious about inclusion and sports. A new Titan Comics, Charlie Brown. This is the original Peanuts collection that came out in 1963 or 64, collecting the 60s stuff as it was formatted in those days. These are the books I grew up reading that my mother had in my grandparents' house. Ayazawa's Neighborhood Story, finally getting printed up in English in a nice edition. 3rd volume. If you recall, we did a big manga restock. Let's run. Bump, 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 bump. And got volumes 1 and 2 back in stock. Really just wonderful stuff. If you like Nana, but are always frustrated it doesn't have an ending, Neighborhood Story did end. I think it's going to be 7 volumes of this new edition to have all of it. This one, I don't even know how to pronounce this properly. Puppasits Attract, but it's a very cute shoujo book about 2 dog owners with very different kinds of dogs. Spy Family 12, My Special One 7, Treehouse of Horror 3. This is the gorgeous Simpsons Treehouse of Horror slipcase books, which I really enjoy. Can't get new Simpsons comics anymore, but you can get these wonderful collections. Dream Machine. This is a fantastic book put out by MIT, all about the possibilities and ideas of what AI technology could be, as presented over the course of many years, and how it shifted and changed as computers have changed. On a very different future, we've got the great Tommy Masorti, who I actually have a piece of art print of up in my room in my house. These are a bunch of shorts by Tommy, all envisioning different styles of worlds. He's an incredible artist. This is what I talk about when I talk about the sheer amount of stuff coming out making a problem. No one ordered this book. I think Tommy Masorti is one of the best artists playing around with what you can do in manga comics, that format. And I can only afford to get one because, look, I got to get all this other stuff that people might want. So, it's an awesome book, but I've only got one. Let me know right away if you want a copy. Walt Disney's Donald Duck, Uncle Scrooge's Money Rocket. Botaro is one of the Italian Disney masters doing all the great stuff in the 70s, and that's finally been collected. We're going to skip over these two for a second. We'll get back to them. We will get back to these books. I love them. I talked about them a lot when the single issues were coming out, and I would like to really go into depth about them, so let's leave them. We've got a brand new edition put out by Abrams. This is crazy. Abrams made a huge contract with Marvel to print a bunch of cool Marvel stuff. They've got the Mike Mayhack Spidey team-up books that I showed off a couple weeks ago. They've got that Alex Ross Full Circle that they did. They have the Mighty Marvel Stories, where a bunch of young adult people, so they're doing new original content. Yet somehow DC Comics is teaming up with them to do a high gloss, fine, big format of famous books of theirs. See, Abrams Books. If you don't know the Uncle Sam that Steve Darnell and Alex Ross did, it was a book they did in the mid-90s about the health of America. Uncle Sam, the spirit of America, is dying and starving. Things aren't the way they are supposed to be in America, and he needs help and he needs to change it. It's very metaphysical while also being gorgeously drawn. We've got Deadpool and Cable, part of the Modern Epic Collection. This is some old 90s Deadpool and Cable, but a bunch of newer Deadpool and Cable in one big epic collection. Dead by Daylight, The Legion. This is the latest Dead by Daylight miniseries done by our wonderful author Nadia Shamas, who we're a big fan of. Dylan Snook did the art, and it also comes with Dead by Daylight codes. That's why it's plastic wrapped, because there's codes in there. All right, let's collect the books that I want to talk about especially. Okay, we've got 3 books that we are going to talk about in detail. I'm going to move a little bit farther back. Oh, Joe, I'm sure that Uncle Sam is even more depressing now. I reread that book about 5 years ago, before 2016. But for 2014, 2015, someone had traded it in, and woof, is depressing then, and it's only more depressing now. So first off, this is the book that I did a social media post about today. This is a book that I've been excited about for a long time. I read over the weekend. Emma Hussinger won an Eisner for her. I think she won. Maybe it was only nominated, but I think she won for a New Yorker comic called How to Draw a Horse. She also co-drew a book with her wife, Tilly Walden, My Parents Won't Stop Talking. Tilly provided the spot coloring in this book. One of the big things that people talk about in graphic novels is that spot coloring, that serious blue or that teen aqua color that they use in so many graphic novels. What I love about this book is that the main character intersperses her emotional state and her imagination in different colors. So it's all blue, but now she's playing with her baby brother, her toddler little brother, and it's all red. There's moments where the two cross over. She's wondering about what's going to happen, what people are going to say, and it's really just an exceptionally well put together. The main plot is that Tara skips 8th grade and starts high school right away. And she has to deal with all that uncertainty of starting high school, but without the buildup of 8th grade. Hold on, we got some people coming in. Welcome.
Hi.
Help you guys find anything?
I'm okay, thank you.
All right, if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'm just showing off some new books on the live. Oh, you're welcome. All right, so now let's talk about this one. This was by far, and I've said this numerous times as it was coming out, this is by far one of the best things DC has put out this year. Um, Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey is one of those really loaded things. There are people who Birds of Prey will always only be Dinah Black Canary, Huntress, and Batgirl, Oracle Batgirl, working together. That's it. That is the original Dixon. I think Dixon did all of it until Gail Simone took over, but I don't know. Dixon, Gail Simone. That's Birds of Prey. Anyone else? So when this came out, it caused all sorts of people talking about what is Big Barda doing on there? What is Harley Quinn doing there? And what I loved about this book, and we talked about it when the first issue came out, is that that's answered. Every single part of this team, the way this book goes, makes sense and works together. I love Jordi Belair's slightly off-register colors. We talked about that a lot as this book came out. This collects the first 6 issues, the main series, where it would have ended if not for the fact that it was popular enough for them to keep it going, which is how many superhero books work now. Highly recommended, just if you want to read a fun team book that doesn't rely on you knowing everything. Like, I literally know nothing about most of these characters' backstories. I am not up on all the superheroes. I had no idea that Dinah had like a adoptive little sister. I knew very little about what they've done with Zealot in the DC universe or what counts. Cassandra Cain is this big question mark to me that I've picked up bits and pieces about, but I've never really read the original stuff, and it all just works. Romero and Thompson just knock it out of the park in their storytelling. Jordi Belair really lends a lot. And who did the lettering? Clayton Cowles. Yeah, I really just think, just looking at a good 9-panel grid, you can really see this is the sort of book that is meant to be read and enjoyed, and nothing more. And I'm really happy that it came right away out in a nice little softcover. They're about to start the 3rd storyline tomorrow. There's a new Birds of Prey. Ends the 2nd storyline. So it's very exciting. You can read this and then just be waiting for another new graphic novel next season, I guess, the end of the year. A miniseries, and it was always meant to be a miniseries, not like Birds of Prey, which was kind of a wait and see. A miniseries that I enjoyed thoroughly is Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville. First off, the genius of getting the Dodsons to do the covers. Honestly, I would say just the cover gallery of this book makes it a worthwhile purchase. You've got Natasha Bustos' sketches, but such wonderful covers. David Nakayama did covers. Steven Sedgwick did some covers. Really great stuff. But what I love, I'm wearing a mask because I had some people in the shop. Actually, I think they just left. I have some people in the shop, and I have many sick people in my house, on and off, with all my children. So I just mask up to keep people safe. What I really love about this, besides for the fact that Joanne Starr absolutely nailed B and B and Tora's relationship. These are I love these ladies from Justice League International. I know them for most of my life. B and Tora's relationship is just spot on. Natasha Bustos' movement and acting and characters are just always dynamic and wonderful. But even more than that is that it really reminds you that the DC universe is this vast, interconnected friendship group thing. Like, Fire and Ice are in Smallville because Superman sent them there. Superman's not really their buddy. They don't really know Superman. They don't really have a relationship with him. They don't even know why he sent them to Smallville specifically. But the people who they're friends with, the group, Superman's like Superman. He's Superman. He's the biggest. They've worked with Superman a few times, but it's always been like in a distance. So it really pulls that off well. You really feel like you're reading B-list characters, but B-list characters in a world where there is A-list, B-list, C-list. That's a really good one, Dane. I like that. I was really... That's a clever question. Good for you. Anyway, those are the books that are out. Those are the books that I recommend. We also have, of course, we talked about it last week. I did the whole live stream about it yesterday, but just to show off for a second, we've got this beautiful Unico display. Wonderful manga adaptation of the original Tezuka character. I should be remiss not to mention it, even though we talked about it for hours. And yeah, we've got 23 books. I got more coming by the end of the week that I forgot to put out. A couple more graphic novels tomorrow. And then, of course, um, all the single issues, which I have to go get to work on. If you enjoyed this, keep in mind that we do look at new books every Tuesday, every Wednesday, new single issues, and just discuss all sorts of comic nonsense the rest of the time. Side. Um, oh, yeah, that's also pretty good. Yeah, anyway, like, subscribe, notifications, all that nonsense. And until tomorrow, when we look at those new issues, remember, damn it, babies, you gotta be kind.